Hi, Ukulele Bartt Warburton here again with another ULP, Ukulele Learning Package. This time it's a flamenco piece called Asturias. Actually, it's called Leyenda. The guy who wrote it, Isaac Albanese, named it Leyenda, which is the Spanish word for legend. He wrote it about 1890 or so. After he died, someone else renamed it Asturias, and that's the name that a lot of people know it by. It's this. So I'm going to teach you how to play all of that. I'm going to give you the chords, and I'm going to show you the triplet finger picking pattern. In this package, you get a lot of stuff. You get the video you're watching right now, of course. You also get the tabs. It also includes the chords. Then on another tab sheet, you get a close-up of the triplet finger picking pattern, which I'll show you in a couple of minutes. You also get 6 audio files in various speeds because this is usually a very fast piece. The first one is the piece of music played with a click track and some bass, and it's pretty fast. Then you get the same thing at a medium speed and then the same thing at a very slow speed, so even if you have a lot of trouble with this, you'll be able to keep up with the very slow speed. You also get a file that has the ukulele removed, so it's just the backing track, a click track and a bass, karaoke style. You also get 2 other audio files for the fast triplet finger picking. So I play it at full speed and then again very slowly so you can really hear what's going on. And you can get this whole package right now at Bartt.net, BARTT.net. Let's get to the lesson. The music is in 6/8 time, which means you're counting to 6 as you play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 1 is the G string. The 2 is the E string open, so it's... And the 3, I put it back in the D minor position. So the first 3 notes are... Number 4 in that pattern of 6 is the C string, still in the D minor position. Number 5 is the E string open again. And number 6 is the C string open. And if this is confusing, just look at the tabs and take your time because it's all right there. Let's do it together. I'll give you a count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if that's too fast, just listen to the other recordings that I gave you. Play it slowly, and then eventually you'll be able to play it up at that speed. On my right hand, I'm alternating with my thumb and my forefinger. Thumb, index, index, thumb, index, thumb. So what you should do is just take a D minor chord and just play that about 400 million billion times, and then you got it. After you repeat that pattern twice, you go to a slightly different pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. So that pattern is in the tabs. You're using your pinky. And then there's one other pattern that leads us into the E7. It's sort of a segue. And that goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. And the 1 is of the E7 pattern, and here's the E7 pattern. This part's a little harder because you need to use your pinky on the 4th fret of the G string. Let me play it for you. Now I'll slow it down. So you'll notice also I'm strumming an E7 chord on the 1. The 1 is a strum. Strum, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Strum, and then the E string open, and then the E string on the 1st fret. So it's like this. 1, 2, 3, and the 4, 5, 6s. So your middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the C string. And then you hit the open E string, which is easy because you're keeping the E7 configuration with your left hand. And the 6th of the 6 beats is your pinky on the 4th fret of the G string. And while you're doing that, keep the E7 in place because you're going to go right back to the E7, and it's difficult if you take your hand off and have to keep putting it back on. So practice holding the E7 shape and putting your pinky on the 4th fret of the G string on and off just to get the muscles built up in your pinky. And as long as you keep counting by 6, you're going to get it eventually. There's also an F chord in there which follows the same right hand pattern. And there are only a couple of bars of that, so that's easy. That's the basic pattern of the song, but we still have a few things to go back and add in to make it much more complex. All of those notes we played are split by an A note. So the riff, instead of going like this, is actually going to add an A note in between every two notes. And yeah, it sounds impossible, but you'll get it if you practice very slowly. That's why I give you 3 different speeds to practice on in those audio files I put in the package. So it's all in the right hand. Every one of the notes in the basic pattern, we've been playing that with 2 fingers, but now we're going to play each of those notes with our thumb. So you've got to practice just that. And with the index finger, you're going to add. So watch my right hand. I'll do it slowly and then speed up. We're still counting to 6, but we're going to add the word "and" in between all of the numbers to account for this index finger. I'll show you. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and... Practice this really slowly because it's a repetitive piece and you've got to build up muscle memory. If you practice it quickly and sloppy, you'll perfect sloppy playing. So don't do that. Slow and counting. Now we're going to make it even harder by adding a pull-off. Listen to this. A pull-off is when you pluck a note and then you sort of pull on it with your left-hand finger. So it sounds like this. A little tricky at first, but you'll get used to it. I'll do it slowly. It's actually easier to play fast, but I'll try and play it slowly. There's a lot of stuff in that piece of music. It's pretty complicated, so I think we should make it even more complicated. Let's add a triplet strum. So what I did was use 3 fingers. Before I was only using these 2 fingers, going back and forth with them, but I'm going to add an extra A note. What we did before when we added the A note in between each of the other notes was this. What I'm going to do now is add 2 A notes. Check this out. Alternating these 2 fingers. I use the middle finger first, followed by the index finger. So I'm doing this with my right hand. So it's a thumb down, followed by a middle finger up on the A string and the index finger up on the A string. That's why it's a triplet, because there are 3 notes in that space. And a good way to practice this is to just, once again, hold down the D minor chord and practice down on the G string with your thumb and up with the middle and index fingers. And just repeat this pattern a million trillion times. Really slowly, like this. And eventually, over a couple of hours or days or years, you'll get it faster. The triplet picking is tricky, so I've given you 2 audio files. One is the pattern, and the other one is the same thing, but way slower. I mentioned earlier that I'm not doing the entire Leyenda. I'm just doing the familiar parts. So now I'm going to play it at 80 beats per minute, which is pretty fast. I'll play it along with the audio file that I give you so you can see how this ULP works. So that's Asturias, or actually Leyenda. So practice it, and I'll see you next time at Bartt.net, BARTT.net.